Information shared on the following program is for general information purposes only. It does not constitute legal, tax, investment, or other advice, nor is it intended to recommend any particular investments, products, or financial instruments. Always seek advice from your financial advisor, attorney, or accountant with regard to investment, legal, or tax questions.
Welcome to the only show in the country dedicated to helping savers worry less about money, the Worry-Free Retirement, with your host, best-selling author and fiduciary, Tony Walker.
Hello and welcome to the Worry-Free Retirement. Of course, neither one of us are Tony Walker. Today you're stuck with the favorite son-in-law and the favorite nephew. Wes, how are you doing?
Doing pretty well, Trey. How are you?
Pretty good. Yeah, so today, unfortunately, the reason we're having to host the show, Tony is going to take it easy for a couple days after Lacey and I had Tony and Susan up to the house to help chase after Scout and Ivy while we got some things done. What we didn't tell them was Scout and Ivy's favorite place to hang out is actually the 5-foot-tall playroom over the garage.
Yeah, I've scraped my head against that attic a couple times. It is pretty tight now.
Yeah, even the little man in the sweater vest has to duck in that room, which led him to the sore back that he's now nursing.
Ready? Okay, go. Okay, now. Oh! All right. Okay, cut.
But what it allows us to do is actually look back on some of the best clips from 2020. I know a lot not so good happened in 2020. It was kind of a crazy year, but we had a lot of really good educational moments, a lot of good clips that we sent out. I know you send out our email blasts to clients and prospective clients. These were the ones that really help people better understand some of what we do and kind of better understand the financial world. Which leads me to our next point, two good things for us that happened in 2020. February, right before the market went crazy, I passed my Series 65 to become a fiduciary. Shortly after, not to be outdone, kind of tell me about how your 2020 happened.
I had to jump right. As soon as Trey got his, I felt like I had to get in there and do the same, but we definitely entered the financial space at a weird time. When we got our license as registered investment advisors, the market immediately crashed, so we've had an interesting time here in our first year, but it's been a good one.
Yeah, what better time to help people with their money than so much uncertainty?
But right now, yeah.
In all honesty, what it allowed us to do is kind of train under Tony in the process of the Worry-Free Retirement. We're not product driven, we're not commission driven, we're salaried advisors that help our clients. And one of the things is actually the first clip we're going to show is really how the financial world gets paid. So let's go to that clip.
All right, let's get back to it. The theme has been how do financial advisors, how does the financial world, how do they make money on our money is really what we're talking about. And really there's four institutions to concern yourself with. Of course, you have banks and credit unions, and of course they have to make money in various ways on our money. It's perfectly legal. Then we go over to the investment companies, the brokerage world as we like to call it. And as you can see, they too have to make money on your money. The third institution out there that is after our money, insurance companies. Of course, we like to talk about premiums for life insurance, annuities, those types of things. And of course, at Tony Walker Financial, we are the agents of insurance companies. We don't work for them, but we are licensed to do business with them, which leads to our next point, financial advisors such as yours truly. How do we make money on your money? Let's stay here just for a second, Derek, because if you'll notice, there's four ways that an advisor can make money on your money. Number one, investment fees, which we offer and we charge fees. We'll show you that in a minute. Advice fees. Now, years ago, I used to try to do something called financial planning, and I would sit down with a fella and say, okay, we'll charge $5,000 and go through a financial plan. Well, guess how many people were interested in that proposition? None. But there are still people that charge fees by the hour or in what we call a block fee system, which we do not do. Commissions, as we said, many of our insurance products pay us a commission. We'll see that in a second. And again, those commissions are paid for insurance products such as life insurance, long-term care, annuities, and final expense policies that we offer through Tony Walker Financial. And finally, we do not take trail commissions. Sometimes a broker will be paid commissions from this point forward. They're usually small commissions, but they're generally trail commissions that last quite some time on the sale of annuities in most cases. All right, so let's get to the nitty-gritty. You're thinking about working with Tony Walker Financial. Maybe you've talked to one of these big wealth managers or money managers and promising you the moon, and you say, well, how do you all get paid, Tony? Let's do a comparison right now. So what we're assuming here, we're just imagining in a perfect world, all three of us, in other words, commissions, our fee versus the other guy's fees, are all hoping to make 5% return on your money. Now again, we don't know if we can make 5, that's not the point. We're just trying to compare what happens to your money and how much money is being made on your money. So let's imagine that you give the money and you put it all in an annuity and you've got $250,000. Assuming the average commission on that size is about $15,000, that would be paid to the agent, but since it's paid by the insurance company, the full $250,000 works for you. There is really nothing that comes out of the account unless you surrender it, of course. So you don't really have any fees on that in this example, and let's say at 5% that $250 grows to $663. That would be in your account. We come over to our Charles Schwab platform where we charge 0.8%. We do all the picking of the funds. We have 5 portfolios. We provide full services. We handle everything. The money is just held at Schwab. Now in our case, over that period of time in 20 years, we are going to, assuming 5% growth, charge about $60,000 over that period of time, which would net you a little less. Again, we're hoping we can make more than that, but just let's say it's all 5%. But now here's where the rubber meets the road. The other guys, on the average, charge about 1.5%, and some of these folks won't even work with you unless you've got a bunch of money. So let's say they're charging 1.5%. They make 5% on your money. They're going to make over 20 years about $105,000, leaving you with less than $500,000. So here's the point, folks. Number one, is the person you're working with fully disclosing their fees, their commissions? If they're not, they're probably not a fiduciary, or they should be. Because at Tony Walker Financial, before you work with us, we want you to understand what the services are going to be, how much we're going to charge, and what you can expect to get in return for you handing your money over to us.
Well, Trey, from that clip we can see a lot of advisors out there peddling a lot of annuities and different investment programs, and there really is a big incentive for these people to sell annuity contracts because of the commissions that they have. The only problem is a lot of those contracts don't seem to get serviced the way we'd like to.
Yeah, as you saw on last week's show, we really stand by our service. So as the financial world runs on other people's money, with 10,000 people turning age 65 every day in the United States, there's going to be a lot of annuities sold. So in order to avoid these annuity blunders that we see, this next clip really dives into it.
You know, over the years, I've seen a lot of dissatisfied people who have purchased annuities, and here's 4 of the most common reasons why. I call them the 4 biggest blunders savers make when purchasing an annuity. Look at the first blunder here if we can, Derek. Yeah, it's falling for the free, I call it free steak mistake. Well, what's the free steak mistake? Well, that's running out to a free dinner seminar, letting somebody buy you a $50 steak, and then ultimately, after about 40 minutes, you being asked to turn over your life savings, something that maybe took 30, 40 years to accumulate, and plunk it down in an annuity. This is pretty scary stuff. Now, are free steak dinner seminars fine? Of course, they're perfectly legal and perfectly ethical. The problem is many of you are getting into a hurry to buy the goods and wares and services that these folks are selling. So be very, very careful. And as my late great father would say, just slow down. Okay, blunder number 2. Let's take a look at this. Buying an annuity without a written game plan. I cannot tell you the number of people that come into my offices, they want me to look at their stuff, and they happen to have an annuity. And I'll say, oh, okay, great. Let me see the written game plan that accompanies this annuity. And they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't get a game plan. I got an illustration, or I got something written down on a piece of paper. Folks, this is what a written game plan should look like. At Tony Walker Financial, it begins with organizing all of the information in our proprietary software. This software is awesome, folks, because it first of all shows you what you have. Let's go to the next slide, Derek. and then shows you how we're going to use and enjoy it. That's the best part. And look at how everything is diagrammed. And what happens over the years, we start to see money come out, I call these file drawers. We see this money coming out of these file drawers so you know exactly how much money you're going to have and when you can use and enjoy this money. This is some wonderful stuff, and if you'd like to see an example of this free game plan with your specific information, I'll show you in a minute how you can get that accomplished. All right, let's go to blunder number 3, Derek. What happens? Whoop, too good to be true. I hear it all the time. In fact, these are called income riders, and some of these income riders are advertised to pay 6, 7, 8, 9, 10%. And again, while that's partly true, they're being sold as if you can make that much money on your money plus pass that money on to your heirs. It doesn't work that way. In fact, let's take a look at an income rider. Now, in our proprietary software, what we do here is you can see there's a contract value and an income account value. This particular company pays 10%, listen, 10% simple interest on the income account. Well, if I just stop there, who wouldn't buy that, right? Well, as you'll notice over here, even though the income account is $510,000, and this person began to take out mailbox money, in this example, $22,000 a year for the rest of their life, which is a lot of money, but the income account value is basically gone. What is left is what's called the contract value. And as you can tell, if you live long enough with these products, there's a good chance there's not going to be anything left when you die. So moral to the story is, are income riders appropriate? Sometimes they are. Are they overinflated and oversold? In most cases, yes. So if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And finally, the 4th blunder, buying annuities from marketing firms rather than retirement planning firms such as Tony Walker Financial. So how does this work? You're on the internet, you get a TV ad that's talk about marketing annuities and buying annuities through these firms. Folks, these marketing firms are not local. Most of them do not have service experts and many times don't even have fiduciaries. So you need to be very, very careful. When you reach out for someone to come into your home to sell you an annuity, there's a very good chance that that person is not local, nor does that person have a team of retirement planning specialists so they can help you now and in the future maximize that annuity.
Wes, unfortunately, those blunders weren't just made up. That, having met with savers in the Louisville area weekly, we see folks coming in with annuities that just aren't being serviced. And they've got these annuities from advisors and insurance agents around the state, and they're left without anybody to answer their questions. So they come into us and see how we can help. And fortunately, sometimes there's things we can do to help them. Sometimes the contract's written in a way that we can't really do a whole lot with them there, but there's a lot of other ways we can help. And in this next clip, I think Tony kind of explains the ways that we can help savers.
Right. This is the one where Tony really slows down and walks through what it is we do. So we'll go ahead and cut to that.
You know, we do offer everything under the sun other than one service. We do not offer individual health insurance. But if you're retired or retiring soon, anything else you could ever want, from cradle to grave, we're going to be here to help you. Now, why is this important to have everything under one roof? Well, we've already talked about this. If something happens to you or your spouse, or eventually to both of you, who in the world is going to let all this stuff flow through to the next generation? Who's going to deal with any potential taxes? Who's going to help you with all the paperwork? Who's going to make sure this stays organized as you grow older through the second half of life? It's a huge issue, and one in a minute we're going to see really came up recently with a prospective client. So let's go over each bullet point here. Well, the first thing we do, and this is what we're known for, and we're very good at it, they are 401k or IRA or pension rollovers or transfers. Now, what happens here, and we've talked about this before, but we have people on staff that are specialists in contacting your existing 401k custodian. So let's use an example. Let's say you're retired. You're retiring soon. Maybe you're over the age of 59 and a half and you want to work, but you want to move that 401k over to us now. You can do that. Also, you might be sitting out there with a 401k at a previous employer and you're thinking, gosh, I need somebody to put a game plan around this thing. That would be an example of Tony Walker Financial helping you do that. There's no cost to move it over. There's no taxes. We'll handle all the details for you. The second thing is annuities. Now, annuities are something we've done for years. I've been licensed to sell these products since the mid-'80s. We're known around the country for the amount of annuities we produce. And of course, yes, in the right examples and circumstances, we love annuities. Now, one thing to keep in mind, we do not sell variable annuities due to the risk and the high fees. At Tony Walker Financial, we kind of have a belief to keeping costs down. So we do all sorts of annuities. We can help you with that. We've got somebody full-time on staff to help you, but we do not do variable annuities. This is the biggie. I know in the last show we talked about retirement planning. Everybody and his brother seems to be a retirement planning expert now with very few credentials and very little experience from what I can tell. Now again, a retirement planning specialist is going to provide you a written game plan. Without a written game plan, as we'll see in the next segment, you have nothing. I don't care what their credentials are, because all you've got are products. Remember, retirement planning begins with a process, which we have a 5-step process called the WorryFree Retirement. It then constitutes having a plan from a trained retirement specialist. Then you purchase products. What most people do is they're sold products and then try to figure out the stuff later. That's a scary proposition. Life insurance and long-term care insurance. Again, last week we talked about the issue of a financial entertainer recommending everybody buy long-term care insurance. Another goofy blanket statement that should not have any credence. A retirement planning specialist, particularly a fiduciary, is going to sit down with you and go over all of your options and should have a good working knowledge of long-term care insurance and life insurance. Tax and fee analysis. Boy, this is a biggie. You know, what if I could save you $1 in taxes or fees? What would you do with that dollar? And then you have to imagine, gosh, if I had that dollar back and wasn't just throwing it down the tubes, I could actually possibly use or enjoy it or invest it. You know, many of you are paying way too much in taxes and fees, or assuming what happens after 2026, when I think tax rates will go up, you're not putting your money in a position to pay lower taxes. We can try to help you with that. Investing. This has been something that's very confusing to people because for some reason everybody thinks all we do is annuities, and there's nothing further from the truth. In fact, I've been licensed to sell securities since 1986, and currently we use Charles Schwab for our investment platform. We're approaching, as we speak, on June 17th, 2020, we're approaching almost $100 million of management with Charles Schwab. What's Charles Schwab? Is that an annuity? No. Charles Schwab would be very similar to the same type of assets you would have in your 401k plan. So if you're looking for liquidity, low fees, possibly a little bit of money in the stock market, we can do that. Social Security election, boy, this is a biggie. You know, most people just don't know when to take Social Security. Sometimes it's good to take it early, sometimes you need to delay it. Some people have divorced spouses out there that they might want to draw on. Some people have a deceased spouse that they may want to draw on. Well, we have people in our office who are well versed in Social Security planning and can help you with that decision. Medicare supplements. We offer Medicare supplements. You might have said, well, Tony, I didn't think you did individual health insurance. We don't. But if you're 65 years of age and older and you want us to get good quotes on Medicare supplements, my favorite son-in-law Trey can do that. Now here's something pretty interesting. Did you realize in the state of Kentucky that there are ways to set up tax-free for all of your funeral costs $15,000 per spouse? I think it's $10,000 in Indiana. But it's totally protected. So if you go into a nursing home, as long as that life insurance policy is designated in what's called a funeral trust arrangement, which we do these, it's totally exempt from many creditors. And even if you don't use it for funeral home expenses, it can still go to the kids tax-free and again, avoid any nursing homes. And finally, talking about dying, what about estate planning? You know, many of you, and I get it, you know, they say that many people die without wills, and that's really true. And I don't know why that is, other than it's just not real fun to talk about, and it's certainly easy to put it off. That's why we now have a platform at Tony Walker Financial where we can bring in an attorney, again, at a very low expense charge, and set up everything you'll need for retirement. Now, why is this important to get this service through a retirement planning specialist? So that everything's coordinated. You know, just the other day, I had somebody come in and they had not updated their beneficiaries, and they said, well, I took care of that in my will. And I said, what do you mean? They said, well, I got my will updated. Everything's going to go to my new spouse. And I said, well, that's all well and good, but have you updated your beneficiaries? And they said, no, why should I have done that? And I said, well, unfortunately, if you die, those beneficiaries haven't been changed. They're still going to go to your previous spouse or kids because the beneficiary trumps whatever the will says, and this person was not aware of that. So in conclusion, here's what I would say, folks. If you don't have an advisor who's talking about all of these areas, here's the key. A fiduciary that's well trained in these areas and can help you with all of these, you may not have a retirement planning specialist, which is fine if you want to work with a money manager, wealth manager, and investment manager, no problem there. but you don't have a retirement planning specialist. They've got to cover all of these areas to make sure everything stays in line. And my suggestion is really consider this concept of everything under one roof.
And well, that really is a good clip because it highlights how important service is to Tony Walker Financial. I mean, heck, at some annuity firms and some investment advisors, it may just be one guy and a secretary running around trying to figure out what forms to fill out. But having so many people on staff has really been the key to making sure that we do our best to service these annuity contracts and treat our clients the best we can.
Yeah, having added 3 service staffers in 2020 and adding another 2 here early in 2021, me and you both becoming registered investment advisors in 2020, we've really bulked up the amount of service we can provide our clients. In this next clip, we actually, Tony dives into our Charles Schwab platform and explains our 5 portfolios. And when you got registered as a fiduciary last year, I'm sure you had some ideas of kind of what it was going to look like for you to be an investment advisor.
Buy Coke, $58 a share. Buy. Selling AMD, 153. Sell. Buy? Did you say buy? No. Sell.
Wes, wake up. Yeah, this next clip, Tony's going to get into the Charles Schwab platform, our 5 portfolios, how savers can put a little bit of money in the market and still enjoy the worry-free retirement.
So let's imagine you've done that. You move the money over. The money is now at Charles Schwab with Tony Walker Financial as your advisor. What do we do? How do we figure out where we're going to invest this money? Well, first of all, this is kind of cool. We have 5 portfolios that we use. So again, before we actually just move the money and blindly throw it in the stock market, we help determine through a written game plan whether we're going to do the following. We have 5 portfolios. One of those is called the ultra conservative portfolio. And actually this portfolio, which is very liquid, obviously, you can get your money out at any time without penalty, is not actually invested in the stock market. It's not used for growth. It's used for stability. In fact, that portfolio consists mainly of bank instruments and government bonds. That's it. No annuities, again, are with Charles Schwab. This is all of your investments, but we can make that very, very safe and secure. And you might say, well, Tony, I want a little bit of risk. I want to try to get some growth on my money. Then you would move over to what we call the conservative, which in that portfolio you would have about 15% in the market. So let's say you have $100,000 with Schwab. That means approximately $15,000 of it would be in the stock market. And then we slide on up to moderate, which would have about 35% in the stock market, give or take a few percentages. Moderate growth, which has been a very popular portfolio, again gets a little more risky, has about 65%. And then if you're really feeling frisky, you could do about 85%, which is called our aggressive portfolio. So you've worked 30 or 40 years slaving away at work so you can save away money into your 401k, and now you arrive at the biggest financial decision you're ever going to make, where to invest your 401k plan. Think about it. For all these years, you've had a steady paycheck, compliments from your employer for all of your hard work that you dedicated to them. But now, all of a sudden, you've got to figure out how to replace that paycheck with the money you've been saving. No wonder you're worried about what to do and who to trust with that money, which is why we at Tony Walker Financial are providing a brand new free service called the 10-Minute Fiduciary Phone Call. And here's how simple it is to learn more about our services and our 401k rollover process. First, just log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Once there, click on the Let's Get Started button. You'll be taken to a page. Confidentially, you can fill out your information on the screen and then click below the best way for us to speak together. It could either be myself or one of our other trained fiduciaries. It's that easy. So what are you waiting for? Before you make a rash decision and blindly turn your money over to a complete stranger to invest, consider a name and a firm you can trust, Tony Walker Financial. And, oh, by the way, if you like, you can give us a call to speak to us at any time by phone by simply calling the toll-free number on your screen. I'll look forward to speaking with you soon.
Well, folks, thanks for joining us on our Best of 2020 show. If you'd like to be added to our email blast list and receive content like this, videos sent straight to your inbox, just send me an email, wes@TonyWalkerFinancial.com, and I'll add you to the list. Trey, anything else for us?
No, just thanks for joining us. Another great show of clips. I know the content that we have in these clips is really what we pride ourselves on, educating people. But if one of these clips raised a question, or you have another question that we could help with, just go to the website, TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Let's Get Started is there on the front page. Just click on Let's Get Started, fill out that information. Whether you live schedule or want us to call you, click Let's Get Started, and let's see how we can help.
One of the things we're known for here at Tony Walker Financial is our proprietary 401k rollover concept called the WorryFree Split-IRA. And here's how it works. Unlike most money managers and wealth managers who tend to work with investors and speculators, their job is to try as best they can to grow your money with little concern for costs, fees, and risk. On the other hand, our Split-IRA concept recognizes the fact that savers do not wish to put all of their money at risk, but maintain a balance between enjoying the possibility of some stock market gains, but also without the fear of running out of money in the future. In order to accomplish this, our Split-IRA works as follows. Let's start with the first bucket. We refer to this as the immediate income and liquidity bucket through our current custodian, Charles Schwab. In this bucket may be all or some of your 401k plan depending on your level of risk. After we determine how much of your 401k or IRA we wish to keep liquid, we then will analyze your level of risk and select one of our 5 personally managed investment portfolios for you. Of course, should you decide to change investments to another portfolio over time, we will be happy to do so, and usually at no additional cost to you. Then we turn to the protection bucket. This is the bucket, or sometimes buckets, where the annuity will go. Why do we put the annuity or annuities in the second bucket? Because we're assuming any growth we might have would be in the Charles Schwab bucket. The annuity, fixed annuities, fixed indexed annuities, fixed interest annuities are meant for protection, and most importantly, their goal is to help you not run out of money. You see, an annuity is the only contractually guaranteed investment that can do this. Wall Street products can't do that, and neither can the products that we place with Charles Schwab. Only annuities issued by insurance companies can provide guaranteed income you can never outlive, something I call mailbox money. So if you are a saver, someone who is more concerned with the return of your money than on it, maybe you have a 401k at a previous employer. You might be over the age of 59 and a half and didn't realize you could even roll your 401k over to someone like us. Maybe you're just ready to use and enjoy this money that you've worked all your life to accumulate. If that's you, let's talk. All you got to do is log on right now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com and click on that Let's Get Started button. We can either meet in person, or we can take advantage of something that's absolutely free. We call it the free 10-minute fiduciary phone call, whereby you can talk to myself or one of our other well-trained fiduciaries to first find out what it is you have going on and how we might be able to help you. So take advantage of that now. Log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com, or if you like, simply call the toll-free number on your screen and let's get started.
And thank you so much for joining us.